even as myself, you got to understand what I'm doing and who I am is not popular. It's not popular. That's popular. Lil Durk, the killing, the gang culture, that's popular. If I look at goofies like John Morant, you understand? Like, even when you don't come from the culture that I came from, you grow up, you feel some type of, I need to have my stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing that if you're in it, you want out. If you didn't grow up in it, you feel like you need that legitimacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Money, Loyalty, Legacy. My name is Matt.
Your boy, Ross, a.k.a. The Champ. Today, our guest is a South Side of Chicago native, NCAA Division I wrestler, MMA veteran having fought in Strikeforce, Bellator, World Series of Fighting, which he holds the fastest submission in just 29 seconds.
Yes, sir.
And who competed in the PFL tournament, winning in just 33 seconds of the very first round by knockout, being crowned the middleweight champion and earning a $1 million cash prize. Please welcome Lewis Put the Guns Down Taylor.
Well, thank you. I'm going to clap myself.
Hey, look at those.
We'll join you.
Like, I was trying to keep it down, bro.
No, bro. You brought the pain. You brought the thunder. I was ready to run out to the ring. So.
Let's go, dude. So just to start off, a lot of people know you, people that are watching that maybe don't. It's unfortunate that, Chicago is very known for its violence, not just in the United States, but the world. You came from that area, unfortunately, and you became a world champion. Can you just touch on like how you started and where you came from to get to that point?
It's a long story, so I got to cut it short as possible. But grew up on 64th and Walcott, real South Side. From there, at that time, I remember my mom was single, so I was trying to stay out of trouble. I had linked up with this Christian association called Awana, and then they used to take kids from the South Side and they'd travel us all around like different parts of Chicago, and we would go to that community and mingle with those people. And then for one particular trip, we were like on 33rd, not far from here, like 33rd and like near Western at the park over there, McKinley, I believe.
By my hood, bro.
Yeah, and then at the time, McKinley was rough.
Right.
And then we were there playing basketball, and then all of a sudden this, I'm in my like church clothes, literally. This group of like three Hispanic kids just walked through the court, middle of our game. I'm staring at them like, bro, what the hell are you doing? They see me. So one of them just snuffs me, punches me in the face. They all laugh and keep walking. So
How old are you at this point?
I'm probably 14. So, instantly, I don't want to rip up my church clothes. So I'm unbuttoning my button. I fold it up, put it down. I see where they go. I walk back up to them and still on one of them back. I'm knowing they finna fight. I'm finna fight all three at this point. So I step back. One of them come lunging. I grab them, slam them towards the ground. The first after I still on one, I know they finna rush me. So I already take a step back to catch them. Catch the first one, slam them to the floor, turn around for the other two. They stop immediately. And I'm like, yo, let's go. I'm, adrenaline, testosterone pumping. I'm like, let's go. And I'm trying to beat them up before the one I threw gets up. And then at some point, they steady shuffling. I take that quick peek behind me. I see the buddy I slammed on the floor. He's on the ground, bone coming out his neck. And he's twitching back there. And I'm like, oh, snap. Just got real.
How old are they?
They were about 16.
Older.
Slightly.
Yeah,
I didn't, you really don't care. It's just go time. So then at some point the cops get there. The community comes around. This is an all Latino neighborhood. If you don't know McKinley back in those days in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I'm surrounded. The cops come. I'm young and naive. Cops my friends. So I run to the cops. Hey, they put me in cuffs, put me in the back of the car. I'm like, no problem. I'll tell you what happened, tell my side of the story, whatever. Community's getting big, it's getting riled out. Then one of the cops, it's only two cops, one of the cops goes back, gets me out the car, brings me back over to the scenario. Now the crowd sees one black kid, one effed up Mexican kid, it's go time. So now I'm getting beat up from the crowd. People are just swinging on me. Cops spinning me around behind him trying to control the crowd. No matter which way he spin me, I'm getting, because I'm cuffed in the back. So now I'm just getting drilled on. They drag me into the field house over there, handcuffed me to the bench in the back of the field house. Now I'm like, what the hell? Because I defended myself on my own better than when the cops got there. So then later the pastor comes in from the not my church, but the church we were visiting, and he was talking to me. He was like, what do you do? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't do nothing. He was like, I watched you out there. Like, you handle yourself really well. And he was like, we got to do something. You got to do something. And then from there, later, the kid's family like, yo, would you like to speak? Mind you, 90% of the people I'm talking to are, the only person who spoke English was the white pastor who came to talk to me. Everybody else is speaking Spanish, and besides the cops. And then so they like, the family of the kid that you hurt wants to speak to you. And I'm like, I just got attacked by like 30 Mexicans. I don't want to see no more. You know?
At that moment?
Yeah, at that moment, while I'm cuffed to the bench, okay. They're pressuring me. Mind you, my parents aren't there. They're pressuring me to allow them to come see me. And I'm like, eventually the pastor's like, it's okay. And I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to tuck my chin and absorb some more blows. But the kid's family, mom and dad, I don't speak Spanish. Again, they come in and the mom's kissing me and the father's hugging me. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Mind you, I'm cuffed to the bench. And I'm like, what is going on? And then somebody translates for me. They like, yeah, they just want you to thank you for saving their son. Their son had been ran away from home like 6 months ago to join a gang, and they didn't know if he was alive or dead. And they were just thankful that they had him alive and could get him in a house. And then, so from there, the pastor introduced me to Ken Bringy, who was the head coach at Bogan on 79th and Pulaski. And he helped me get into wrestling, and they put me gave me my uncle's address. I moved in with my uncle, who was military, Chicago PD, moved in with him, went to Bogan, trained under Ken Bringy, became Chicago's first state placer in 11 years. And then, again, at the state tournament, they brought the same kid who I had hurt to the state finals to watch me wrestle. So that was the beginning of where I'm at now, which later on, after EIU, I went to Eastern Illinois, and I was All-American at Lassen Community College. My grades sucked. So, because, I was a city kid, like I said, and it wasn't like I was a bad kid, but my mom and my family, they raised me to defend myself. But the problem was I was freakishly strong and athletic. And so anytime I got into fights, even if I got jumped, people never felt like they got the best of me. So it would always just progress into something bigger. Like if it was one guy, I would probably kill him. Okay, now it's going to be 3. I would still do okay. Now, all right, let's bring 5. But all the time, now I'm getting suspended and suspended and suspended. So now I'm a freshman with like 78 days suspended out of my freshman year for fighting. Some shit I never even started. You know what I'm saying? Just because people never felt like they beat me good enough to be like, all right, we effed him up. We're done with him. They would just keep coming back. So in hindsight, now a lot of even the guys I used to gangbang with, back growing up on the South Side, again, you got to come up under that. I grew up 64th, so at the time, we were all GDs over there for the most part. And then at some point, I realized I didn't need them, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't appreciate that part either, you know what I'm saying? So they come knocking to my door, hey, step outside, So again, I go out back. There's 5 of them, but now I'm getting violated out the gang, so I'm cool. I can fight back. So then I end up effing up 2 of them, and then I remember when I first started fighting, some of those dudes who had flipped to Black Peace Stones by this time, they all was the first people to come watch me fight. And it was crazy because they were like, bro, I knew you were no normal nigga. They were just so happy to see, because I guess they had lived with that shadow over them. Like, how did this one man beat the shit out of all 5 of us? And that they were just proud, like, all right, he's a pro fighter, just didn't know it yet.
Now, let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people need to hear this. Obviously, you came from a rough area, right?
Yeah.
And you came out on top. You left the gang. What was it that made you just say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing the Chicago gangbang and stuff. I see where it's going. I see an outlet. What was it that changed your mindset?
It comes when you understand that you're a one-man gang. When you understand, like, when we start getting into it and people start hitting me with the thumper, to go put in work or this or that, I'm like, bro, why you come get me?
Thumper's a gun, by the way.
Yeah. Why you come get me to deal with a situation that I wasn't even there for or a part of, or, you know what I mean? Like, so when you start understanding you're being used, that was probably one of the biggest things. Then it would be certain guys. My mom always forced me to speak more properly, better than a lot of people I grew up with. So, you know what I'm saying? She used to slap the shit out of me, bam, say it like this, and I used to be pissed or, this and that. And so for a while, then they would pick on me because I spoke different, because they moms and dads let them speak anyway. So then again, in a sense, I'm in a gang, but some of them semi trying to bully me, but the same MF who's trying to bully me is begging me for help. So I'm like, I don't even like this, but yet I got to go die for him. You know what I'm saying? So it was small things like that. And then just knowing that I can stand on my own and not toss my life away for people who I didn't like, didn't have my best interest at heart, and things like that. Those were just the building blocks to be like, yo, if I gotta go, if you're coming to get me for things that don't involve me, what do I need you for? You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave me no protection. Then I had a big family on the South Side too, so I had a lot of cousins, and a lot of them were younger than me. I was the first boy. I had like 20 girl cousins, and so that's where I got a lot of my early fighting in, was fighting for my girl cousins. And don't get me wrong, I do not hit women, but when you're growing up on the South Side of Chicago, if one fight, all fights, that's the way our families raise us. So, girl, boy, if you hit one of my girl cousins, we're all fighting, and that's because we going to the candy store, we're going to the park. The mission is go there together, come back together. I can't come back and say, oh, yeah, these girls beat the heck out of Tonalea, and I just stood there and watched. That ain't flying. I'm getting my ass whooped when I get home. So fighting for, and then you got to understand, my girl cousins were all older than me. So anytime I'm helping them, I'm fighting up. I'm fighting a group of girls that's up. I'm fighting the guy who touched on their booty that's up. I'm fighting the grown man that, I'm fighting up always, even as a young age, and it's no choice. But you come out, oh, he touched me. That's my girl cousin. I'm the man. I'm 12. This guy's 27. I remember my first one, Arab guy grabbed on we going to the park, my cousin in a bikini, he squeezed on her butt, Now I got to handle this grown man. I'm thinking he's sitting in a chair. When I first get there, I call him outside. Just get up, he's big as hell. But those things just all led to the building blocks. But long story short, just knowing that I can stand alone was the biggest thing to separate me from gang life. And to this day, when people ask me about gang culture, I will tell you in a heartbeat, most of them are.
Yeah. Speaking of gang culture, what do you think of like prominent artists like Lil Durk and King Von promoting the gang culture? You live that life, right? Do you feel like it gives like a misguided message to the youth?
It is super misguided because it is such a crutch, a lazy crutch that and again, even as myself, you got to understand what I'm doing and who I am is not popular. It's not popular. That's popular. Lil Durk, the killing, the gang culture, that's popular. Look at goofies like John Morant. You understand? Like, even when you don't come from the culture that I came from, you grow up, you feel some type of, I need to have my stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing that if you're in it, you want out. If you didn't grow up in it, you feel like you need that legitimacy. I found that out even when I got to college. Some of my early roommates, they grew up 2-parent home on a farm, And I'm like, I want your life. And they like, oh, you grew up on the South Side. I want your life. And then at some point, you got to split from these people who have I don't know what's wrong with their mentalities, but they don't get life for the bigger picture. And it's constantly being sold to the black community, to the brown community, more than anything, because it could be sold to the white community, but the white community is always understanding that is just a hat I can put on and a hat I can take off. But when you're black or brown, that is a hat you live. That is something you wear. And when you wear anything else, oh, that nigga's soft. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's just the way people view you. If, you don't get the tats on your face, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. It's not a respect thing. Unlike, even when you look at the Italian mob or something like that, Chinese mob, something like that, you wouldn't even know. If you see that fat dude in a jumpsuit or a suit, you wouldn't know that they were about that life. You wouldn't know. And that's the key part. Like, you just bumped into the wrong dude, said the wrong things, and now your life's in jeopardy and you don't even know it. The thing is with the black culture and a lot of the gang culture, it's an intimidation thing. Like, I want people to fear me. I don't want anybody on this earth to fear me. Not at all. Not at all. I don't want no smoke, because you know what I'm saying. I don't.
You're
need
gonna bring
smoke.
it first of all.
No, that's the thing. I don't need smoke, because if it happens, it happens. Right. I'll react to it when it gets here, but I don't need to attract it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Now, when we got here, I asked you if you wanted a water, and then you said I'm not, because I'm practicing Ramadan, right?
Yes.
Or you're not practicing?
It's Ramadan. It's Ramadan. Yeah.
So
day 5.
Here's the crazy thing about that. Just touch on like Little Dirk. I saw a picture on Instagram, and he goes, "I can't." He goes, he's about that life. Right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "I can't wait till this is over." And I'm like, this is like day 2.
Yeah.
Of Ramadan.
Yeah.
He's already saying, I'm about that life, but he's not practicing it the right way, and he's promoting it the wrong way. So, obviously you're devoted to that, that religion, and obviously you're doing it, which is very, utmost respect to you. But then it's the same thing. Like, they're saying that they're about it, but they're not about it,
Yeah.
He's saying.
But to each his own. And that's the thing about the Islamic faith that I've learned, that I embrace also. There's going to be extremists, and then it's going to be people. At the end of the day, we're all on a journey, no matter what religion you are. It's a spiritual religion. And in that journey, it's to be better every day, be better. So that's all Islam is for me. And okay, it's just telling me where at the end of the journey I should be better at. Okay, am I there now? No, I'm not. Is Lil Durk there? No, he's not. But as long as you stay on the path and continue to have a goal, because you got to understand, as a man, how many lost souls are there? The definition of lost souls is people without a path, a direction. If you don't have a direction, you're lost. If you're lost, you're blowing in the wind. Which way the wind blows, you can end. And that means that your life could go well, but more than likely, you're going to be on the wrong side of the tracks. So that's just the way I take it. This is just a track to keep me on, okay, I might blow the wrong way, but I know where I'm supposed to go. So as long as you know where your goal is, to reach those goals, you can't go too far away. You can't go too far away, because if your goals stay the way they're supposed to be, and when you're living that life of fame and wealth and this and that, it's harder. For me, even the way I was introduced to the faith, I grew up Christian Baptist, and everybody in my family is big-time Christian Baptist. So for me to even convert or revert into Islam was, unheard of. I'm probably, one of the few in my family to do so. Not to say others in my family haven't asked questions, and some want to know more, and some it's blasphemy, But again, that's cool. Love your God. That's all that matters, as long as you live your life. What I do is not important. You know what I'm saying? This is just my spiritual journey for my household, the way I want to raise my kids and my wife, and, the goals I want. Like I said, I was introduced to it through people like Belal, and as I separated myself from street culture and found myself first, the gym. The gym is a very diverse melting pot. You got criminals, you got cops, you got doctors, you got everybody in the gym who somehow have a love for combat sports. Now, inside the gym, everything's equal. Outside, one might go on a bus, one might jump in a Rolls Royce. That's the way it goes. But inside, the respect is there. And that's something that society needs in a whole. But I just found it as myself, as I tried to continue to climb or to just cut the fat. When you're trying to go, if I have a goal of being a world champion, right, I can't continue to always go backwards or hang with my old crew. And because every time I go with them, hey, we rolling up, we smoking, all right, we going to the club, all right. Nothing we're doing is positive. Nothing we're doing is positive. We're not asking about how each other kids, we're not doing anything positive. But in the Muslim community, we are. You know what I'm saying? And again, when I go hang with a lot of the Muslims, we're not drinking alcohol, we're drinking tea. It might sound lame, but now when I'm having tea, I'm not putting poisons in my brain and my body that's, giving me a false sense of, I had a good time because I was drunk. Why do I need to get effed up to have a good time? And then a lot of times you hang with people over years, you don't even realize that every time you see them, you're drinking. And you associate them with alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. So if you're trying to be a world champion, and I didn't even start MMA until I was 28. So I had a small window to get it done. And so I just didn't have the room to continue to associate backwards. And it sucked sometimes. It was a sacrifice that came with real sacrifice. I had people mad at me because you didn't show up to this, or y'all might have missed the funeral, but I got to train because, again, I'm broke. I'm a broke MMA fighter. We broke. And the thing about that is the people that show up for us, we're not paying them. This isn't boxing where you're paying for rounds. So if I got people coming to train with me to help me achieve my goals, I have to at least do them that luxury of being there. You know what I'm saying? I can't say, cousin Day got a baby shower. Hey, I got to go to this funeral. No, I got to be in the gym. I got to be where I'm supposed to be because these people are there to help me. And I'm not giving them anything. The only thing they want from me is a thank you. And to see me win and to know that their dreams and our dreams are attainable. Same thing I see with like Belal Muhammad. There's nothing I need from him besides a thank you and to get that belt and bring it back to Chicago.
And he's going to get it, baby. We all know that.
He's going to get it.
On this table, we all agree. You know what I'm saying?
So for you guys both know Belal on a more personal level. So for people that don't know Belal on a personal level, what's your guys' rapport like when you guys are training together? He obviously helped you get into your faith. What is it like? What's the camaraderie like with you guys in the gym? Like, what do you guys just talk about in the gym? Like, what's your training ready? Like, just to give them the inside.
The inside look. If anybody knows me, I'm goofy. I'm silly. I like to play. I like to laugh. I grew up serious. My kids don't understand it. They're like, Daddy, you play so much. I'm like, dude, I grew up serious. I grew up in a world that was, just covered in real shit. And I have no desire to be a real you know what I'm saying? I have no desire. I grew up in that. It is who I am. I don't need to present myself as this false sense of bravo masculinity or whatever you want to be. It doesn't make you as the man. And the same thing with Bully. Bully doesn't need. We're in the gym. We're joking. We're talking jokes nonstop. We're playing. We're laughing as we punch each other in the face. It's just the culture. You don't need to act tough to do tough things. Same thing with I don't need to act hard. It's just natural. Ow, okay, good one. We're going. We're always joking. We're playing, and then when it's time to get serious, though, he knows. It's a tone, just like when you're talking with your parents or whatever, the tone changes. Hey, yo, watch this. Boom. Now we're right back to joking. And again, sometimes I think maybe he didn't even hear me, but I could tell him something seriously I could throw 100 jokes and throw one serious line. 2 years later, he'll be like, Lou told me this one time. I'm like, damn, you still remember that? But that's the way his brain is. And, I've been with Belal since I was the head coach at Bogan, and he was a skinny student playing around in the gym, So it's been a journey that we both end with these world titles and bring them back to Chicago.
Right. And we touched on that when we talked to Belal on our podcast. Obviously, you were the reason why he got into MMA to begin with. You know what I'm saying? And then, obviously, you trained at, East Illinois, Division I wrestling champion. Obviously, like the likes of like Matt Hughes.
Yeah.
What about Rampage? You ever slam Rampage?
Yeah.
You slam him?
Well, yeah. Paige, don't deny this. No, me and Rampage are cool. That's my guy to this day.
How'd you know him? Matt?
I met him in California. We were at this school called Lassen. It was like always top 3, top 5 JUCOs. Like I said before, I fought a lot, suspended a lot. My grades were trash. I had to come in through university through the back door, which is JUCO. You go in, you get your 2-year degree. You take the 2-year degree, you use it to go in through D1. This is, again, for those who don't know, your SAT score sucked, your grades sucked. Take the back door, go to junior college, but go there focused. Don't let them put you on a 4-year, 2-year program. Get your degree in 2 years, get your associate's degree. Then you can go to any D1 you want without the SATs, without any of the other hoopla that you need. So me and Rampage were in Cali, and we were the only 2 public league kids there. Like, this school, Lassen, was all creme de creme. T.J. Williams. I could just go on and on. The cream of the crop, of wrestlers. Everybody at that school was no less than 2-time state champion, 4-time state champion from, all, spreads house. Even Brock Lesnar was there for a point, Wow. And it was just, I had no clue. And then my coach told me, he said, bro, you think you somebody, put all your little medals in a box, pack them away. When you finish, you can come back and look at them. When you get here, you're a nobody. Right. And that's Lonnie Niles. He told me that, and I was like, damn, bro, that's how your recruiting pitch?
Hey, let me show you, bro.
Then I got there, and it was, again, nobody. Me and Rampage was, you got a totem pole. Me and him was the 2 knowest of the nobodies. You know what I'm saying? So we were like blonde because we were like, oh, public school. Yeah, city school. We boys. So me and him ended up linking up, but then we ended up getting into a big squabble with like TJ and Reggie Wright. And then, again, I ain't gonna get in too far. I'll say that for his podcast. But we like I said, we ended up becoming boys, brothers. I dropped him off to the airport. He was heading to Arizona, and this was Hotmail. You didn't have cell phones, so we could only communicate through Hotmail, and Rampage wasn't the best reader, so you couldn't really email him like that. So then, long story short, you remember how hard it was to watch fights back in the day, Pride or any of this. It was impossible. Yes. And then they would put a picture of Rampage on a cover, and he wouldn't even be on a disc. They would just sell all the time. But then now it's just a whole new game. But Pride was this organization back in Japan. Early MMA, they were the biggest, 50,000 strong every night, and that's where Rampage really became who he is. And then we linked up at a UFC fight. I saw him, boom, what up? Got his number. And then we've been hanging out ever since, every blue moon, whenever. And sometimes I'll shoot out there to Cali and Huntington, if he comes to Chicago, he'll hit me up and we'll hang out. But we've been friends ever since, That's my road dog.
Cub Scouts, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in the wrestling MMA world, you guys came up together. You know what I'm saying? You wrestling. We still even now. I got EIU, Eastern Illinois group chat in the Facebook. All of us still somehow say what's up. We might not speak all the time, but if something happens to one of us, i.e. like Matt Hughes when he got hit by the train, all of us. And again, I love Matt, but Matt was a dick. You know what I'm saying? Matt was a dick. I heard that.
Yeah. How so? Yeah. When you
Matt
say that, what do you
was
mean?
a dick.
Was he a coach or was
he was a coach. He was a coach. When I got there, he was an assistant coach. And the thing is, Matt was cocky. He was white farm boy. I'm a black city kid, so it didn't even matter about that part. He didn't give a care. He was just Matt. You know what I'm saying? You learned to know who he was, and the thing about him was he would punish you in there. You know what I'm saying? So
overly,
overly.
It's like do or done. And
there's a crossface, and then there's a punch with the forearm. Yeah. He would give you the punch with the forearm, right. And so even I remember we had a big fight. And mind you, I was the only kid from Eastern this year to even go to nationals, right? So that means that now I'm the only person who's the focal point to do good at nationals, meaning everybody in the room is there to kick my ass.
Right.
And we're doing positions and he could never really, it took me like probably a month before I could handle him standing. But his only chance was, topside when I chose down. And then this instance, I remember he, they coached, they got me in rotation, so they put me down. And then just boom, boom, just mind you,
And you're wrestling.
We're wrestling.
Right. So
And
no punches.
I'm like spitting blood, like what the fuck? And then I'm trying to get out, and he's in Matt. It's heavy on top. He arched in, and he's just remember the way he did Gracie.
Right. Yeah.
Same
Just
way.
boom.
Yeah. Same way
up.
we're in a wrestling room. Arches in, left, right, left,
like that,
right.
punching you?
Just like that.
You're wrestling.
We supposed to be wrestling. But the thing is, I think he was mad because I was beating the shit out of him in a room. Because you got to understand, I'm tired of shit. I'm tired. Like, we've been in a room for hours, and I've been just go, go, go. So I'm at a point where I shoot the double. I'm not even waiting to see how you fall. I'm just next. You know what I'm saying? Like, next person, come on. And I think, like, he's like, yeah, now's my chance. So then I finally get up, and then I'm looking to fight, and they grabbing me. I'm like,
So the room kind of like realized what the hell is
no,
going on.
only after when it's to my turn.
Oh,
to
so
get
now you want to get your licks in now.
Now they want to break the shit up. And I was pissed. I'm like, oh, you like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you saw him go hard and didn't say shit. And then when it's my turn to get mines in, now you want to break it up. That's that BS. If you're going to let it go when he goes, let it go when I go, And so I had a problem with and again, Ralph was a great coach, Hall of Fame coach, but that's where the threads come undone with his coaching style. I love you, Ralph, but it's just the truth's the truth. You gotta, hold it too. But again, like Matt was Matt, and even his wife, if you watch the documentary, she'll say, I didn't even like him before the train wreck. After the train wreck, it was a blessing to her and the kids, because the him before the train wreck versus the him after the train wreck are two different people. And that's what I hate to be like, bro, if you know somebody, we rocked out together, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm lying, or because you're injured, I have to sugarcoat the truth, when the truth is the truth. You were a dick, and we accepted the dick, just like a lot of people hanging with Diddy accepted it. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. You'd mentioned. Well, actually, I take that back. Let's fast forward to what was it like winning $1 million at the PFL. Let's just get right into that.
It was, for me, it was never about the money, and
Right.
it irritated a lot of people who asked me that question. But if you go back and read any of the interviews I did leading up to that 5 fights in 5 months, 2 in one night, 5 opponents. So it's brutal, Now it's only 4. It's not even the same tournament. Now you get 4 fights spread out. You don't even get, like, the 2 fights in one night was brutal.
That's insane. How was that, dude?
That was brutal.
And you knew that was happening, right?
Yeah, that was
how
the
do you
schedule.
prepare for that?
Man, you just
do it?
You just go. You know what? Wrestling prepared me for that, because wrestling, I always had that wrestler's mentality. And, in wrestling, a lot of times when you do the tournaments, it's not just one and done for the day. Only a dual meet is one and done. It's go. You never know when you're going to go again. You just, even to this day, I remember I was doing security. I can rest and just go. And they'd be like, how can you do that? I don't need,
The
amp up to go. Go is just programmed in my DNA at this point. And so the same thing, like, they wanted me. I had broke my hand after my first fight, and only my corners knew. I just kept that glove on. I knew it was shattered. And then
What round did you break it in?
I don't know what round. It was a 2-round against Rex Harris, and I knew it was busted, because we had like an hour and a half between rounds. So they were like, let's take off your gloves and get comfortable. I'm like, don't. You take this off, it ain't going back on. So I'm like, no. So then they like, you want to warm up? I'm like, nope. Just wake me 10 minutes before the match. I just lay back, and then when the final match come, get up and go handle business against John Howard. But to get to my point, for me, at that point, I was 39 years old, right? And I told myself, I had gotten into trouble with the law, and I told myself that, all right, and I was 28 at that time, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this MMA stuff for, 8 years, So I'm giving myself like to about 36, and I'm like, then I'm going to move on in life, see where I'm at, and move on. But when I got to 36, I'm like, why am I stopping? Like, no one's beating my ass in the room. I'm still, everybody in the, if you ask, they'd be like, how'd you do against Lou? That is the question of the gym. So why am I done just because I reached an age that I'm supposed to be done or on my way out? So I was just like, you know what? Then I had young blood around me, the Belals, the Kevins, all these people, all these young bloods, that's just keeping me young. I'm not drinking it, but they keeping me young. So I'm like, let's keep the party rolling, So I keep the party rolling, and it was a rough couple years because I had to wait as the WSOF shut down. Mind you, I lost to David Branch, which is my only loss in the last forever. David was tough, 2-time world champion, 2 division champion before Conor, and lost to him. It's no shame. It was a tough match, but they took Gaethje and David and Morales. They took all of them to the UFC, and they left all of us, Then I get to watch Gaethje and Morales. Everybody, they go become superstars. And I'm like, God damn. And I'm still here, a nobody. So the only thing I got left to do, David took my first opportunity at a world title and took it in the UFC belt and took it and left. Now I'm stuck as the WSOF closes its doors, becomes the PFL, which only was supposed to be a year lag. It ended up being like 2 or 3 years. So now I've only fought once in 3 years. In the last fight, I fought for a title. I fought one time. And then when the PFL actually gets rolling, I'm not even a favorite. They got me like under the ground.
Right. No, you weren't.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, I was the last person to fight for your title, and this is how you guys treat me. But
so you took that in like more aggression, like, hey, I'm going to show these motherfuckers.
Yeah, but it's always been that. You know what I'm saying? It's always been no one believed in my skill set. For whatever reason, no one believed. They see the way I fight, and they be like, I don't fight or like anybody else. I fight the way. Yeah, so people look at me, they be like, it's weird. How he kicks? He's a wrestler. He punches. Like, what is going on? It's a weird style that is my style because every fighter needs to have their own style. No 2 champions look alike. That is what you young guys are getting twisted. Stop trying to emulate any other champion and become your own version of the best version of yourself because that's the only thing that's going to shock the world. Look at it. Does John Jones and Dominique Cruz look alike? None of them look alike. None of them move alike. You know what I'm saying? Alex Pereira in Adesanya. None of them move alike.
Well, I mean, because you're a wrestler and you almost have that karate stance, and you put like with your front forward, like your front leg.
Yeah.
So you're and like you touched on earlier how strong you are, and I can attest to that. Cause, we always bring up my kid. He'll never show up on time.
What's up, Mike?
I told you come here a half hour ago, and you'll be here 3 hours later. But he's always like,
he's got 3 jobs. No,
3 jobs, 15 other things going on. He's got dinner at 5 o'clock. And he's always like, dude, Taylor is so effing strong, bro. He's like, it doesn't matter. And like you said earlier, like even that guillotine choke you had on that guy, and you're like, even watching that fight, I feel like the commentators were wanting him to win. What was his name?
Phil Hawes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like they were just talking him up the whole time.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And then you come out and like, what was it? It was in the first round.
Duvella. Yeah, he was the number one. Duvella. Yeah, Corey Duvella. He was the number 1 ranked fighter. They only brought me in because contractually they owed me my fight, and so they was gonna have to pay me regardless. So they decided to throw him to the wolves and give him to our number 1 fighter, because Corey was supposed to get the shot.
Right. And now let me ask you this though, because obviously I've watched your fights and I'm a big fan. You were pissed.
Always.
Was it pissed because like, is it like you turn it on? So we ask a lot of like the fighters that we have, how do you, before you walk out there, what is your mindset? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Or you walk in and it's like, dude, let's go. Because you touched on earlier about being a wrestler and it's like, it's go time. Are there butterflies or like what's going through your head or like how does it feel walking out to like an arena full of people and on television?
I think it's important to make yourself nervous, to create nerves so that you're sharp, because you don't want to go in overconfident. And mind you, everything I'm saying has come from my experience. You can go have your own, but my experience, when I'm nervous, I'm sharp. So even if I've had people that I should easily beat, doesn't mean that I'm fighting at my best, because I know I can beat this person in my sleep. So that's not the best mindset. You want to almost prepare for the worst and keep that like, man, this is, if you're scared of Anderson Silva, this is Anderson Silva I'm training for. That's in front of me. Prepare for whoever you think your boogeyman is. That's who needs to be in front of you. Because if you got a baby in front of you, you're not gonna want to go F that baby up.
You're going to get caught.
Yeah, and you can get caught because he could be so scared of you, and you're down here. You're not even meeting him halfway. You're down here, and now that perfect storm has happened where you are not as aggressive and he's overly cautious, and somehow you end up taking an L. But to press on your question, the best thing for me is I learned I don't need the music, I don't need to get riled up to perform. I always just want, when the ref's saying, are you ready? Are you ready? Go. Anything in my brain up until that point is noise, and I need to get it out. So I remember even in the PFL before the finals, right before I'm revved up, I'm ready to go, they put my whole family on the screen. I'm like, no. I'm like, get out. Why? Because that's not where they should be right now. You know what I'm saying? This man is finna come try to take my soul. I don't need wife and kids in that headspace because they're not going to protect me. Now, maybe if I'm getting beaten, I need to figure out why I need to get up. Wife and kid picture pops in. But when you're going into war, nah. Because that means, you shouldn't be there. You got something. Go be with them. Don't be in that cage.